Welcome back to the Stock Market Options Trading channel. My name is Eric, and if you want to be a successful options trader, you really have to know the edge for your strategy. And in most cases, you need more than just the options chain to profit consistently from your edge. So in this video, I'm going to show you a simple way to define an edge for trading PDT-friendly Iron Condors on SPX that expire the following day. You'll learn which days have an edge for trading this strategy and how you'll know before the trading week begins which days to trade them. This is perfect for those who can't watch the market all day. Now let's get into the short presentation. We're going to talk through the TTR Iron Condor strategy. This is the updated version as of November 2023. But before we get started, let's go through a couple things. This is preliminary research that we're going to be looking at for trading 1 DTE Iron Condors. And on Friday, that would be 3 DTE. And we're going to be using the TTR values from January through October 2023. So still kind of a limited sample size. There are plenty of values or TTR values to backtest. But again, I'm still considering this kind of initial or preliminary research. Now, as I start trading these, I'm going to be posting these as trade alerts in the Alpha Traders Club feed. And these trades will be taken, you'll see in a minute, about an hour or so before the close. So there'll be plenty of time if you want to trade it. So I'm going to be posting that there. Obviously, if you want to adjust the strategy or trade differently, that's great too. I'm going to go ahead and assume you understand the basics of Iron Condors. There's always risk in option trading, of course. Iron Condors are risk-defined spreads, and we're going to use that to our advantage and really to help us position size and make sure we're doing a proper allocation, which is really a key part of all strategies, and especially in this one that we're going to be looking at. Past performance is no guarantee of future results, and what I'm going to be doing initially is just trading one contract at a time. I'm going to be adding in some automation, which is something that we'll get into in another video. But for now, once my automation takes the trade, I will be posting that trade into the Alpha Traders Club feed. All right, so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go ahead and just quickly review the TTR in case you haven't seen this before. The TTR is a new metric on the Alpha Crunching website. Alpha Crunching is a separate utility / indicator / tool for you to use in your trading that helps us find edges in the market for short-term trading, mostly geared around SPX. And on the TTR tab, we'll see that TTR stands for tomorrow's triumph rate, which shows the historical percentage of times SPX has closed higher the next day over the past 2 months. So I'm going back about 2 months in time and just simply calculating whether or not the market closed higher or not the following day. So a low reading, like on this particular week, a low reading of 25% means that Tuesday did not close higher very much. It closed higher 25% of the time, which means that it closed lower 75% of the time. On Tuesday, we had a bullish reading, which was 67%, and we had 22% for Wednesday. And the one we're going to be focused on for this strategy is the kind of neutral values here. So I'm, for now labeling anything between 40 and 60% as kind of a coin flip for the next day. There's nothing real trend following, or there's no trend in the market closing higher the following day. So these are the days that we're going to look at putting on a 1 DTE Iron Condor. And if we had a value on, let's say, Friday for 44%, we would do a 3 DTE on Friday. And if we go back in time, we can see that depending on, I'm just kind of randomly choosing, some weeks you'll end up with 1 or 2 trades, like 2 trades here. So on this particular Tuesday, we would look to do the Iron Condor that expires on Wednesday. And on this Thursday, we would do an Iron Condor that expires on that Friday. So some weeks you're going to get 1, 2. I have seen, I forget which week it is. I have seen weeks where you have 3, and I've also seen weeks where there are none. So there are weeks where there are no, quote unquote neutral values. So on this particular week, for example, we would not be trading a 1 DTE Iron Condor. And this can happen for a couple weeks in a row. And then as the market maybe shifts around a little bit, we end up with a couple values. So this isn't something we're going to trade every week. We're going to simply look at the TTR for the week. Remember, the TTR, just like all the other data on Alpha Crunchy, is currently updated every weekend. So before the trading week begins, we know what the values are. So we can go ahead and plan a 1DT Iron Condor for on this day. This was Thursday for this particular week. This is what is going to allow us to maybe add some automation to where we can set up a bot to say, hey, Thursday before the close, sell a 1DT Iron Condor and place your orders and whatnot. So this will help us plan for the week and maybe automate, which is something I'm going to be testing, and we'll share those results in the Alpha Traders Club. So in order to kind of validate this strategy, what I basically did, let's hop into Option Omega, is I went through all the TTR values for 2023. And so far, I'm doing this video November 1st, so we have up through the end of October in here. And these are all the dates where the TTR was between 40 and 60. So I'm doing this back test based on specific dates, and those specific dates are based on the TTR values being neutral, or 40 to 60%. So that's how I'm backtesting. I know someone asked how I'm doing this. If you're interested in backtesting this as well, I can get you this list. Just let me know in the comments below, and I would love for more people to backtest and find different strategies. Let me add here that since this is a, I'm using the term neutral, but since this is a coin flip type strategy where the next day closes higher about 50% or so, there are other delta neutral strategies. I'm doing an Iron Condor with these particular settings, but we could test Iron Butterflies, possibly calendars, those type of things as well. So again, preliminary research, but this is the one that I'm going to be going with in my trading to start trading this. So let's go back to just the backtest itself. So what I found in the backtesting is that opening the trade about an hour before the close actually did a little bit better. And I think because you're actually getting a little bit more width, but that I would need to kind of verify. But backtesting shows the 3 p.m. trade backtest a little better than like 3:55, for example. And that will also allow me to post these as well so that other people can follow if they choose to. So we're opening the trade between 3 and 3:15 p.m. And the reason I put a window here, and this is a feature in Option Omega, is because I want to make sure I get a certain premium. I want to make sure my premium is at least $2. So if you just go with the 3 p.m. option price, sometimes you'll get more, sometimes you'll get less. But if you say, hey, I want $2, you have to give the backtest some other time frames to see if they can get the best credit. And the minimum premium function is going to allow us to make sure our risk reward is more consistent, to where we wouldn't want to get a trade for $1.75, because then the max loss becomes greater if it becomes a loser. So I'm going with minimum premiums of $2 for this particular trade, and profit target is 50%. So again, this is 1 DTE. However, if it's on a Friday, it would take a 3 DTE trade. So far in 2023 up through the end of October, we have almost an 85% win rate, and trading one contract at a time made about $3,600. And this is the part that I'm usually most focused on, is the average loser versus the average winner. So if our minimum premium is $2, let's say our average credit is $2 and change, this checks out as our average winner is about $1 or $108, which is about 50% of that credit. The average loser was $268, which is just about right too, because sometimes it can expire between the strikes and you get partial gain and partial loss, that type of thing. But this is the risk reward that I was kind of going for, is you're risking basically $300, less than $300, I should say, to make about $100. So it's a 3-to-1 risk reward when you factor in the 50% profit take. And obviously there was a loser here of 304, so the max loser was a little bit bigger, but there are kind of variations in the backtest. What I like to really focus on is the average per trade. And so what Option Omega does is it looks at all the wins and losses and said for every trade you made about $50 per contract. So if you're risking, let's say $300 per spread, and you're making $50, that is I'm not sure exactly, 12-15% gain on your risk. So I like those odds. I like that risk reward. And if we know that our max loser is going to be, let's call it 304, then we can then position sizes to say, okay, I'm willing to risk $300 to make this trade. And then if you want to, risk $1,000 a trade, then you would trade 3 spreads. This is the base case strategy. So one thing I like about this strategy is that the P&L curve is actually pretty good in my opinion. We do see there was this period of time where there were no trades, and I think I showed a minute ago how there will be weeks where the TTR value is not between 40 and 60. So you just simply won't trade. And I think that's one of the things that a lot of people have a hard time with, is actually not trading and waiting for the, quote unquote best setups, or waiting for your edge. And so what I wanted to show you in this video as well is, is there an edge with this strategy? So far this year, it took 72 trades. We obviously see this period of time with no trades, which is hard to sit through, right? But then we see some choppiness, but ultimately, it's going from the bottom left to the upper right without too big of a drawdown, in my opinion. So of course you're going to have some losers. Here's some pullback here. You win some, you lose some, but ultimately you get a nice little win streak, and it just keeps going up. So that's, I do like the P&L curve, even though there's a big flat line there. But one question that you want to be able to answer when you're implementing a strategy is there an edge with this strategy? Is there an edge to the TTR being in that neutral sort of zone? So one thing we can do is come in here, and instead of trading only on the dates that the TTR was neutral, what if we just took the exact same trade, but just take it every day? Well, obviously we're going to get more trades, but are we going to make more money? What's the P&L curve look like? Do we want to trade it every day versus only being selective and only trading it when we think we have an edge? So we're going to take the exact same trade. We're going to now take it every day of the year, and we're going to let this run, and let's just see the results to compare the TTR version and how many trades and whatnot. All right, so here are those results. First of all, there were 205 trades taken, so almost 3 times as many trades, and it made about half the money. Because if you remember, we made, I think it was 3,600, and we're basically making 1,800. So we traded 3 times as much, and we made half as much, and our average per trade is now $9. So our risk reward is still relatively the same. We're still risking about $300 to make $100, but now our average trade lot is only $9, which drastically reduces the profitability. So if you look at the P&L curve, now it's just kind of all over the place. Technically, yeah, it does go from the bottom left sort of to the upper right, but it's less money, more trades, more hassle, more commissions, all those things. So if we go back and just compare again the previous version, here is the TTR version. So again, about 1/3 of the trades of trading it every day, and about twice as much money. So to me, there's an edge that I think is worth trading. So again, I'm going to start trading this, and I'll be posting these trades in the feed. So let me know if you have any questions, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks.